I was on that hill there. Oh no. But I remember being shocked by the violence. When I filmed this 25 years ago, I didn't know that it was going to be so important. It's satisfying to have filmed something that helped create this place. The bodies of the Ashari family were taken to Skanderai on the edge somewhere, and they were all laid out, and the journalists all came to see them. And I remember then, and of course I didn't understand that the Ashari family were a big family in the region, because I was still learning about this country. I didn't know much about it then. But I remember being shocked by the violence, because this was not soldiers. Yes, of course, the men in the family, they were soldiers, they were guerrillas, they were fighters, and you know, it's traditional when you're having a battle that you target the men, and the war should try to contain to that, and that is normal in international law. But in this instance, and I hadn't known what had happened fully, because we didn't know everything. We just had these pictures of this attack. And then we saw that there were these women and children, well, their bodies were there, who'd been killed. And we heard that there had been, some of the family had survived or not been there, but we were still trying to find out exactly what had happened. But I remember being shocked by the number of people who'd been killed and the manner of it, how it had happened, and how the whole family had been killed. You know, if it hadn't happened, perhaps the independence wouldn't have happened. It's hard to see how it would have happened. Now, it's not the only thing that happened, because there were other massacres too, and there were all sorts of things that made it happen. But this started it. This did something very important. And I don't believe it could have done this without the pictures. I think the role of the international journalists was perhaps larger than many Albanians understand. I'm not saying necessarily that international journalists need to be thanked. They're doing their job. But they did do their job. And the job was a good job. And they told the truth, and the truth got out. But what was really interesting, I think, with this video was it triggered the diaspora to understand that the fight was on. So the diaspora said, this is terrible, the Ashari family have all been killed, and so it started gathering momentum, gathering fundraising, gathering all sorts of things. So more weapons could be bought, more people could volunteer, and also you could almost feel the villages and the towns in Kosovo rise, and you'd go into them and you'd see guerrillas there. Good morning. I think the footage has certainly enabled Albanian independence, yes. I think it's not to say that the diaspora wouldn't have come later, but perhaps there would have had to been more massacres. Until journalists came, I do believe, I'm 100% sure, that to get NATO involved, you need to inform the West. They need to see images, pictures, video is how you communicate in the modern age, or certainly how you did then. Maybe it's social media now. But you needed images so people could see it. These pictures were seen by everybody, Albanian abroad, you can imagine. It was very big news. And also they were seen by diplomats, they were seen by politicians. And also a journalist's job isn't to change history. A journalist's job is to give other people the information so that they change history. We've only got one brain each. I came here, I didn't know this country. I know it a lot better now. I didn't know who was right and wrong when I first saw it. It's news. I've been here a week. What I am pleased with is that there was action. Of course it makes me feel good that pictures that I took had an impact. And if they saved lives, if they did good, if they did something good, but it's not even for me to decide that, because as a journalist, as my profession, an activist's job is to change the world. Mine is to tell the truth of the world, so many brains can decide what is the best outcome. You have to be humble to be a good journalist. Otherwise, you're something else, you're a propagandist. I didn't come here wanting to take a side, but I did care very much about human happiness and people's lives. And I do believe that international journalists, quite a lot because they took images of 3 massacres, Prekaz being the first, Obria being the second, and Ratchak being the third. These pictures arranged a timeline for NATO to come in. Without them, NATO may not have come in. Without one of them, NATO may not have come in. We don't know that. You know, you asked me, how does it feel? Yeah, I'm pleased. I am proud of filming this. Yes, I am proud of filming this. I'm proud that something happened, something that saved lives came out of it. And I'm very pleased that Kosovo Albanians today, they have a future they didn't have then.